is Bill the Adjuster with your Smart Claim tip of the day, tip of the week, or whatever frequency you get it on. I guess you've maybe seen your utility bills, but with the price of oil, natural gas, and ultimately electricity on the rise, people are going to probably be a little bit smart with their utility budget this winter and probably start using space heaters. I get it, and I just want to give you a little bit of advice in that world. So first of all, space heaters are definitely going to be on the rise. It's a way to get a lot of heat into a small space without, firing up the furnace, which you may have a limited amount of resources to keep that furnace running. So those space heaters tend to be, solve the problem directly in front of you, but they come with their own problems. And as far as a house goes, electric systems and fires, this is what I'm talking about. The problems, the risk is relatively high using these devices. So first of all, they all have the same issue, meaning it doesn't matter what your little heater looks like. It could be one of those radiator styles. It could be something like this. It could be a little fan force unit. It could be one of the most expensive electric heaters out there. But if it plugs into a household outlet and you live in the United States, it's all going to be almost exactly the same thing. Watt, you say? No, watts. 1,500 of them. So 1,500 watts is going to give you a little over 5,000 BTUs, 5,300, somewhere in there, of heat power. So it doesn't matter what it looked like, if it's oil-filled, water-filled, direct, dish thing, they all run on about 1,500 watts to give you that 5,000 BTUs of heat that is focused in that smaller area. The problem is 1,500 watts is a lot of power, and a lot of our outlets look like this. They got video game consoles in them, they have lamps, they have computers, they have TVs, they have USB chargers, you name it, but a lot of our outlets tend to be overloaded, and it doesn't all have to be in the same outlet. They could be all in one room, even if there's a single cord in each outlet, but they're all in the same circuit. So it gets a little confusing when you say, wait a minute, it's the only thing I had plugged in, but it's tripping the circuit breaker in my son's bedroom, who's got 11 things plugged in as well. So if you understand the electric system in your home, it's because we overload circuits. So this is a panel in not bad shape actually, but inside your electric panel, bunch of wires, bunch of breakers, and these are designed to kind of stop these problems, right? So it says if you use too much power, it trips that circuit breaker, that little switch flips back. So if that happens and we plug something in, you've had it happen, right? The hair dryer, the iron, the anything that draws or heats. The vacuum cleaner can trigger it. And you're like, wait a minute, I tripped the breaker. Well, that breaker is that safety thing to keep you from overheating those wires. They get hot and they could cause a fire. The problem is some of these panels are in poor condition. They've had some wear and tear on them. They've gotten wet in a storm. They're corroded. They're in an outside area. They've been exposed to the elements. Lots of reasons for these panels not working perfectly. These switches are designed quite well, but again, they do get old, and the way we use our homes tends to be cumulative, right? We keep adding and adding and adding, and that's where the issues come from. So let's do a little simple math for you. 1,500 watts plugged into a standard household outlet, it's about 12.5 amps. So most of your circuits in your home are 15 amp. Now, granted, there are some 20s, but let's assume it's a 15 to be safe. If I'm taking 12.5 of those amps for one device, it's almost all of the available power. If you had $15 in your pocket, I said, give me $12.50, it doesn't leave you with a lot. So that's how much power is going to be dedicated to this little heater. So if you have anything else on that circuit, you're pushing the maximum available current on that circuit. On top of that, if that circuit's a little bit older, you might be already at the max with 12.5. Anytime you're maxing out a wire or a circuit, it gets hot. You've probably felt wires that felt warm or got soft or real flexible after they've been in use. You went to grab it. A lot of electricity, 1,500 watts is a lot of power. So using these devices does tax the electric system. So even if you're doing it perfectly, you're running about the maximum on a single circuit. So number one, make sure it's the only thing on the circuit. So in other words, if it's in a room and there's 9 outlets in the room, it's possible all those outlets are on the same circuit. So if it blows that circuit breaker at all, you got to figure out which ones were off and make sure you're using it on its own. Don't use multi-tap accessories. That's that picture I just showed you, like the power strips. The power strips, you can plug 12 different things into one outlet, but you're just adding demand to that outlet, and you're surely going to exceed the rating of that circuit. Make sure that device is placed on a fire-resistant surface for tip overs and spills, and even if it is a cord issue, so the cords get worn out, a lot of power going to them, they start to spark. I've seen the cords actually start fires. So make sure you're aware when you're using these devices and trying to stay warm. All of this is to protect you from having a large house fire. All this to protect you from having, personal injury or something that could be even worse than your house burning down. So please be careful this winter trying to save some money on your utilities. I do understand it. Be very, very careful knowing these devices come with a lot of risk. Again, I'm Bill the Adjuster. Hopefully this was helpful. If you had somebody invite you to watch this, please give them a question or a call, shoot them an email. But if you want to send me an email directly, you can reach me at smartclaim@metropa.com. Again, this is Bill the Adjuster. Hopefully you can stay warm this winter. Thanks, everybody.